A new enemy had emerged, disciplined, expanding, and relentless. A new destiny now stood before them. For centuries, Constantinople had resisted every siege. Protected by massive walls and positioned between continents, it stood as the final stronghold of the Byzantine Empire, the last living remnant of Rome, first reshaped under Constantine the Great. It was more than a city. It was the final throne of an empire that began under Augustus. By the mid-15th century, that empire had been reduced to little more than its capital. Surrounded, weakened, and cut off, it survived on legacy and walls that had never been broken. But in 1451, a new ruler rose in the east. Mehmed II. Young, precise, and determined, he set his sights on a goal others had failed to achieve for centuries. Constantinople would fall. He prepared with calculation. Massive cannons were forged, larger than anything seen before in siege warfare. Fortresses were constructed along the Bosporus, including Rumeli Hisari, tightening control over access to the city and cutting off support. His strategy was total. Land forces surrounded the walls. Naval forces blocked escape and supply. Nothing was left to chance. Inside the city, the final Byzantine emperor, Constantine XI Palaiologos, prepared for the inevitable. With limited forces, he reinforced defenses and waited. No reinforcements came. In April 1453, the siege began. Cannons thundered against the Theodosian walls, structures that had protected the city for centuries. Day after day, the bombardment continued, slowly weakening defenses once thought invincible. Still, the city resisted. Then came a decisive shift. Ottoman forces moved ships over land, bypassing the chain that guarded the Golden Horn. It was a calculated maneuver that changed the battlefield, opening a new front where the city was least prepared. Pressure closed in from every direction. Weeks of resistance turned into exhaustion. On May 29, 1453, the final assault began. Wave after wave of Ottoman troops advanced. The defenses, worn down and outnumbered, began to collapse. Amid the chaos, Constantine XI Palaiologos entered the battle. He did not retreat. He did not surrender. He disappeared into the fighting and was never seen again. With him, the empire ended. Constantinople fell. Rome fell. For the first time in over 1,000 years, there was no Roman Empire. After the conquest, Mehmed entered the city, not as a destroyer but as a ruler. He secured order, protected key structures, and began reorganizing the city under Ottoman control. One structure stood above all others: Hagia Sophia. For centuries, it had been the center of Eastern Christianity. Under Ottoman rule, it was converted into a mosque, marking both conquest and transformation. Mehmed adopted a new title: Caesar of Rome. He did not simply conquer the empire. He claimed its legacy. Constantinople did not vanish. It became Istanbul. From the ashes of Rome, a new imperial center emerged, stronger, expanding, and ready to dominate. The Ottoman Empire entered its age of supremacy. Istanbul became a global capital, linking Europe, Asia, and Africa. Trade expanded. Administration strengthened. Diverse cultures were brought under one imperial system. The empire did not erase the past. It absorbed it. Roman governance, Byzantine tradition, and Islamic institutions merged into a powerful structure built for endurance. By the 16th century, the empire reached its height under Suleiman the Magnificent. His reign defined Ottoman power. Territories stretched across 3 continents. Key trade routes fell under Ottoman control. Law, architecture, and governance flourished. At its peak, the empire stood as one of the most powerful states in the world. Its strength came from structure, centralized authority, a disciplined military system, and a strategic ability to manage diverse populations. But no empire remains unchallenged. Over time, the system began to weaken. Leadership grew inconsistent. Internal corruption expanded. Military innovation slowed, while European powers advanced rapidly in technology and warfare. The balance of power shifted. Territories were gradually lost. Influence declined. By the 19th century, the empire was no longer dominant. It still existed, but its strength had faded. The final turning point came with World War I. The Ottomans aligned with Germany and the Central Powers. Defeat shattered what remained. Territories were dismantled, authority collapsed, the empire could no longer sustain itself. In 1922, the Ottoman Sultanate was abolished. An empire that had lasted over 6 centuries came to an end. From its remains, a new nation emerged under Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. A republic replaced an empire. A new identity replaced an old world order. But the legacy endured. The Ottomans did more than conquer. They reshaped regions, connected continents, and carried forward the final chapter of Rome. From a rising frontier power, to the conquerors of Constantinople, to a global empire, and finally to history. Their story is not just about power. It is about transformation. And the moment one empire ended, another took its place. If you want more stories that reveal how empires rise, dominate, and fall, subscribe to Historical Truth and turn on notifications. Because history is not just the past. It is the foundation of everything that followed.